Public speaking, Maples class. So this is going to be the last speech of the semester, and I think that everybody's come a long way, and there's been some different changes and a lot of different ways that we've learned to talk to other people and to get our points across. Right now, what we're going to talk about today, as far as my last one is going to be, is what's called failure to launch. And it has been a problem that's been kind of a coined phrase over the last few years about a certain segment of society, a certain group or demographic, which has its place going back quite a ways, but more focused now is what we call millennials, and with their failure to launch or the appearance of it. And what we've come to find out is the millennials are basically the children of the Gen Xers. I'm a Gen X generation. So we were like the first aspect of latchkey kids. Before that, the generation before us, the boomers, they had two parents at home. They had plenty of surroundings as far as family structure and things like that. Well, then as the economy changed, the time changed, now you had both parents going to work. Both parents, the mom may not be there, or the dad might not, so you're coming home by yourself. So what we're going to cover is what failure to launch means, what we can do to prevent it, and why it didn't happen as often back in the past. First and foremost, life management skills in middle school. We were taught how to cook, how to clean, how to sew, how to balance a checkbook, how to handle business affairs, how to dress for an interview, how to do these type of things. Here lately, we haven't had that sort of thing anymore. That's been replaced with types of clubs and organizations, and we have to push them for academic skills and push them into algebra sooner and push them into world events and things like that. Well, they slowly eroded away at that. During some of my research, I found out that life management skills is still in existence, but it's more of an optional class. We didn't have a choice. We were told we had to. You had to go learn this stuff. Most people were taught in the past by their parents. They were taught that this is how you balance a checkbook, this is why. They were understanding why, if you didn't do it, what was going to happen. Same thing as far as cooking, cleaning, sewing. You can't pick up a phone then, an app, and pick up and push a number and look up a YouTube video on how to do it. We actually had to be taught and how to learn to do it. We've also came into the situation where the Gen Xers felt, I think, guilty from my research that had so much of a guilt aspect as far as them being so busy that we need to tend to our children a little bit more, their feelings. So their feelings, their thoughts, what their opinion of the situation, it became more of an aspect. Not discounting kids' feelings, but at the same time, it was generations before, it didn't matter. You were silent, you were seen and not heard. That was basically your role. So since now we've evolved a little bit further, when they start coming out into our workspace, I work with them. These guys, I see them coming to my stations, and they're as old as my kids are. Some of them, they would demand to be heard. They want to hear their ideas, and in certain aspects, that's fine, but sometimes you just have to sit there and wait your turn. So what we're trying to do is evolve them a little bit, saying you're not wrong. What you guys are doing is not necessarily wrong, but it's not the way things have happened in the past. And what we're trying to do is mold them into the community that we're working in, whether it be in construction, in business, in food service, or whatever. We're trying to figure out how we can do this. There's a couple points I want to hit. Failure to launch is it failure of the person to launch, or is it failure of society to actually help these people launch? You have to teach people in order if you're going to get something out of them. You have to teach a child to walk, you have to teach them to run, you have to teach them to play a game that's not innate. If we're not teaching them how to do it, we're not teaching them to be self-sufficient, we can't really poke fun at them for not being self-sufficient, because that's what we expect them to do. You have to tell them what you want. The life management skills, like I said, with the cooking, cleaning, planning trips, and saving for retirement plans. From the day I earned my first dollar until now, we've always been told you have to save for retirement. You have to plan your life. It's not going to be planned for you. Well, now there's organizations and people and situations that teach you this stuff, but you have to actually open up the door. They're not going to come beating your door down saying, hey, look, here's a $50,000 a year job. This is how you get it. Here's the education. Recruitment's good, but it takes the skills to actually know how to sit down for that interview and how to talk to the people over there. The world changed, but nobody told us. They did not know that it was going to evolve generationally that fast. When they invented the internet, then it went IM and emails and text messages and things like that. So now you have got a large group of people that can communicate instantaneously. It used to be a letter or a phone call. Phone call was expensive, letters took forever. Now it's instantaneous. Certain generations feel that everything should be instant. as soon as I apply for the job, I should be able to get a receipt that I applied for the application. I should have an interview right now. Instant. It's not the way business works. And it may be working like that in the future, but it takes a little bit of a learning curve for the people that are already in that situation and dealing with the technology of those areas to now. So sometimes there's actually going to be a learning curve. Social activities. Everything is going from baseball, football, basketball, volleyball, cheerleading, and things like that. Now we're packing these young kids full of, their lives are full of extra stuff rather than learning the home duties, learning to cook with mom, learning to work on the trucks and cars with dad, learning how to go to grandma's house, help them mow the lawn. It's not happening like that anymore. Now they're messing around with Facebook, they're doing all this online gaming, and that kind of pulls them away from it. So in order for us to solve this is what we need to do. Get life management skills back into schools to teach these kids that aren't being taught at home. Some of them are being taught, but the ones that aren't, they actually need to be taught. So let's make a semester-long class that teaches them not how to do algebra and trigonometry and launch space shuttles. That's great, but let's talk about how to make a meal for under $10 a person. Let's teach them how to fix a $50 pair of jeans rather than throw them out and buy a new one. Let's teach them to do the basic mechanic work on their car to save themselves money to save their retirement. So, long story short, what we're looking for is, instead of taking these kids and trying to pack their heads full of all this academic information that's really not going to be any use, and I'm sure a lot of the students that are actually watching this may be in this. I'm not bagging on you guys, I'm not trying to put you down, but you're in a different demographic. And a lot of you, and myself as well, have had to do a learning curve. Me, it's with all the reports and the way that the canvas works and the way that technology works to film these type of things. But what needs to happen is eventually there's going to be a point in time where we all have to come together and push everything forward. So you guys have a good time. Thank you guys for watching.
How long was it?
7 minutes.
It won't. It's okay.